So, as you can tell, I have 170 dirty 223s. And if at any given point during this video, you sounds like that I am an amateur and I do not know what I am talking about, you would be 100% correct. This is not advice and this is not telling you how to do something. This is just showing you the process of which I just figured out how to do my own thing. I messed up multiple times during this and I did not feel like going back and redoing the video just to show you the proper way. If you want to know how to learn how to make bullets, use a book like this, read it from cover to cover, watch hundreds of videos, and practice yourself. I am not advising anyone to do the things that I've done in this video for themselves. Go figure it out. This is all satire. Double lastly, I will call cases, bullets, rounds, bullets, and bullets, bullets. I am Hick, and I've always called anything that is a round or ammunition a bullet. I know that the bullet is the piece of metal that flies out of the casing or the round, and the whole thing is a round and ammunition. I don't care. I will call the whole thing a bullet. A bullet's a bullet, a casing's a bullet, ammunition's a bullet, everything's a bullet. Bullet. Do not care. Enjoy the video. A lot of people buy these cases for lubrication. Probably not that many. But there's these little cases for lubrication. You pour the lube, you shake it up, roll it over. I do not have one of them cases. Gonna flatten these all out. Okay. I'm gonna give it a good sprints all over. That's probably plenty. Gonna close it. This is just a pencil box with a napkin in it. Gonna shake that around. And we should have some lubed up rice. Now, we're gonna head to the press and I'm going to try to figure out the die set. You're gonna wanna put the press all the way up. This is the resizing and decapping die. For about a year, just a hair. So you got your lock nut that locks it into place. You're wanting to lock it the second that you feel it touch the die. Okay, so the second it just touches right there, you lower it and give it a 1/4 inch tighter turn. So now that we're there, which I can see that I'm gonna put the lock nut in. There we go. We're gonna lift this up, slide the case holder in. We need to point it our direction. There we go. Lubed up case. Slide in 223. And that sound was the primer. Primer is out. And I'm tossing that into my tumbler. Now, I just need to do this right here 170 times. Not too bad. So I found something cool, by the way. Naturally shaking this pencil box with the bullets in it sets them up straight, okay? If I shake it long enough, they were almost all were up straight. So I'm gonna try this again on camera. Because if I can get it like that, I might be able to just spray down into the pockets themselves without having to use that brush. So that might take a while, so watch this. Circular motion. Gently down, boom. That's insane. That's weird. But anyway, lubrication is not specific. It just needs lube so it doesn't crimp the bullets and get stuck inside of the press. You need to inspect your bullets as well because some of them, let's say this one's probably the worst I can see right now with my eyes. And that's a pretty good one. I'll show you. So, this one, perfect circle. Okay, this one, you can tell that it's crimped on this side. Now, they say to watch out for that. If they're super crimped, don't use them. This is probably the worst one, and I don't think that that is bad enough to not use it. So I'm going to put this one in right now and see, hopefully, that this isn't as bad of a crimp to not use. So let's find out. Okay, gently press in. Beautiful. Okay, so you saw that one was crimped pretty bad. That's the worst one. It wasn't that bad. I will show you a bad one. Beautiful, perfect circle. That's awesome. So, good lube method with the freaking pencil box. Don't need all that jazz. Freaking, they're like, hey, this little box is like $50 for freaking lube. And I'm just like, bruh, could use anything. And then the funniest thing I saw is, you know, them LED stripped lights that you put under desks and stuff can change different colors. There was literally like a strip this big, and it fit right on the edge of the press. And it's like, press, this is a press, it's a press light strictly for the press. And $26. I was like, dog, you can get those, you can get like 7 feet of that exact same LED light strip at like $5 Below. Oh, that one was hard for some reason. So, a lot of it's a scam.
Everybody, I'm part of the vlog.
So this is my fiance. So I figured it'd be, so I got an audience member, my lovies here. Anyways, so this process is re-crimping, opening up the space in the bullet. And at the same time is getting rid of the primer that's in the primer pocket. There was some fuss online that you need to resize and deprime the bullet before you clean it. Some people said you can just clean it and then do all the shebang afterwards. But I've decided that the argument to take the primer out and then clean, was a smarter move, because the priming pockets can retain water, and that's exactly where your powder is going to be dispensed, yada yada. So pretty much you'd have to let it dry twice. Besides that, there really wasn't an argument for it. A lot of people like to clean their brass just like straight up, shoot it out of the gun, clean it, and then deprime. But I'd rather take the safest route possible on the first try. Maybe after a while I'll try to clean it first and then deprime, see if there's any difference. I'm sure the difference is minimal. But when it comes to something as precise as this, I really don't want minimal bad chances to happen, because I don't want to have something blow up in my face. Even worse, waste money, because this shit's expensive. Especially the powder. And anything that has to do with moisture, that powder has a chance to not work and go bad. So, just got to do this probably another 160 times. I handmade this table. I thought it was pretty sturdy, but using this, it's kind of shaking it just a hair. So I'm probably going to have to give it a little bit more support, because since the press itself is bolted in, even if the table moves a little bit, technically this press is moving with the table, so it's really not that big of a deal, I don't think. But I'm going to try to find a way to make the table more sturdy. So I'm going to do that next. But now I'm going to do this another 150 sometimes. So I'll be back. Okay, 170 shells later, we got them all deprimed and resized. So I had two thoughts on doing these as I was doing these. For one, I definitely over-lubed it pretty bad. So the lube, since these bullets were dirty, you know, is obviously catching a lot more of that dust and debris. So I think next time I'll tumble it for like 30 minutes, lube them up, clean them up, dry them up, lube them up, put them in there, do them, and then do a full round of tumbling to clean them. Because you don't want all that dirt and debris on here, especially since I over lubed it. That dirty lube is going all over this rod. So for now, I'm just gonna clean it really good, get it nice and dry, and then re-lube it with dry clean lube. Because you can tell that the debris and stuff is getting stuck on there. So, time to tumble. Anyways, when it comes to reloading, it seems that RCBS is like second in place to the best, or at least it is in freaking price. And Lee, and is probably the cheapest. But the most expensive is Frankfurt Arsenal. And I have one Frankfurt Arsenal thing, which is the Frankfurt Arsenal tumbler and tumbling pins. This little bag of metal pins right here, expensive. Very freaking expensive. So I could have started this a long time ago, but I didn't really have the space. And what I didn't have was a bullet and media separator. I didn't want to lose a single one of these pins because of how expensive they are. So anyways, I dried up most of the lube, put it in a little bowl with a napkin, because again, I over lubed it. Live and you learn. So dried up most of the lube. We're gonna toss these in here. Hopefully I don't feel any. Bing bong. Bing, 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 bing. Probably just got to do a handful. None of the bullets, or bullets, casings, none of the casings themselves I had any trouble with. I found one steel casing that was like bronze. It looked like brass. And I was just being very, very gentle with the press itself. And that one case that gave me problems ended up being that steel casing. It just stopped, and I felt that I was like, that's kind of way too hard compared to the last like 40 I did. So I took it out, looked at it, and it was definitely steel. I don't even know how freaking one steel got into there and why it looked like freaking brass so much. So anyways, that's all of our bullets. We're gonna take our media pins, little metal needles, and definitely taking out the primer pockets, because those primers out of the primer pockets, because those primer pockets are very dirty, like dirtier than any part of the casing. So anyways, here's our media and our bullets. Now, this is a liquid tumbler, so I got like this cleaning solution, which I'm just gonna eyeball it. Oops. I'm just gonna eyeball it. So I'm about to put it like just a hair. Okay.
So as you can see, we got our liquid, our solution, our metal media pins, and our bullets cleaned up.
A lot of people say that they have it cleaned for like 2 hours. I'm just gonna keep looking and see how, then I'll keep you updated. Gang gang squad. Yeah. Cases have been tumbling for about an hour and a half. I finally set up the media shifter. So it's just a little bucket with a cage. Cage rotates. It separates the pins and the cases. So let's get a look. Can take that off. Got our soapy water. Now we're going to pour. Oh, that's freaking dirty. I don't know if you can see how dirty it is on the camera. Now to get all these metal pins out, so we're going to hopefully close this back up. Put a little pin back in there. Holds the whole cage together. And we spin. Some of the pins are flying out. I need to take my precious time. I don't want to lose these pins. It's the only reason I have this thing. So we're gonna do this slowly. Yeah, they're kind of shooting out everywhere. So there's a media shield that I didn't think I was gonna need to use, but I definitely do. They're flying everywhere, so all you do is bend it, I believe, and so this is the brass, all dried out, cleaned. Some of them are just a hair bit dirty, but other ones, they're like completely clean. Now I only left them in here for about an hour and a half. I feel like if I left them in there probably about another hour, that they would be like literally perfect. But I don't know if you can see, if I focus, these primer pockets aren't completely clean. They're a lot better than what they were, but live and learn. So the coolest part about this little tumbler process is I got the Frankfurt Arsenal Media Pickup Tool. Now, what this literally does is once you pull this, the magnet's not there. Once you put it down, the magnet's there. So I just put this over, catch up any media, which there wasn't any right there, thank God. Some of them fell on the floor, so I'm just gonna scan this across the floor a little bit. Pick up like one or two, let's see. Because I didn't have those shields on to begin with. And there we go, we picked up 3. And all of our media pins, dirt and grime, should be at the bottom of this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this, move it around in there. I don't know if this will pick all of them up at once. I don't know if the magnet's strong enough. But there you have it. There's all your little media pins. Now here's the thing. What do I do with this after? I was gonna set it back in here, but I don't want the media pins to like get all rusty. I want these to air out somewhere, but I have no clue what to do. I think for now, I might just leave them in the bucket until I'm done with the first reloading process. So let's drop it. Yeah. There's still some on there. That's pretty satisfying. All right. So the next step that we have is actually case prep, and I got the RCB case prep machine right here. So you got an inside pocket cleaner, an outside pocket cleaner, a primer pocket cleaner, and then the shell itself, little cleaner right there. If you fired these rounds once, which all of these have been just fired once, that you probably do not need to like do case prep, because what happens is when you reload and shoot, the casing actually lengthens and you just need to shorten it a little bit. And after like 2 or 3, 4 or 5, I don't even know how much reloads, the bullet itself actually is not the best because it's been lengthened so much and cut off. So this is a little checker right here. So what I'm gonna do is slide this little checker, and if it is too big to go in, which this one fits literally perfectly, it may be quite literally just a hair longer, we're going to case prep. So I'm gonna set case prep to non-case prep, and I'll show you how that process goes. So I got 4 cases right here that 100% need to be prepped. I'm gonna go ahead and just do these 4 just to show you how it's done. So supposedly what you wanna do, which I have them in order now, is do the inside, outside, primer, clean. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and start running it. And it doesn't need much. So inside, outside, primer, and clean. Took about 15 seconds. So it actually looks pretty good. Now I'm gonna go ahead and re-slide it in here. I just put in it each about 1 second. So now this one's tight in there, like really tight. It's fitting now at least. This one 100% did not fit. So I'm gonna do it one more quick time. So inside, outside, primer, and clean. Okay, it's looking good. Slide this back in there. And now it slides in there almost perfectly. It's still a little bit tight. I'm gonna hold this one on there just for a little bit longer just to see. All right, let's try this one last time. Yes, sir. It's in there, not too tight. I can wiggle it around, but it's in there pretty tight. So perfect. Now I just gotta do this a lot of more times. I am finally to the bullet making process. These are not completely done. They still need crimped, but I'll go through the process real quick. So, very long process. These are primed in. The primers. All the primer was you put in this little pocket, little primer, you swoofed it up, and it shink goes in. That's literally it. So, anyways, primers are in. Oh yeah. So, bullets in. Get your little pan. That's zeroed out for 0 grains. Dump out some powder. This thing likes to jump, so I guess I'm on the table. I got pliers though. Here is a trickler. You put gunpowder in it and move it. So right now we're at 19.5 grains. You can see the powder going in. We need to be at 23.5 grains. For some reason, it quite literally will never go to 23.5. It goes to 23.54 every single time. So that's what I've been going at. A twist of this is usually about 10 grains. It is going absolutely wacko mode for some reason. It has not literally done that before. Yeah, what the freak's going on? Anyways, so you just got to get it specifically to where you need it. This is the longest part. The best investment for reloading, people say. Best investment. Oh, yeah. Okay, perfect. So, is that automatic powder dispenser. You literally plug in the number that you need. You put them in literally slots like this, and it just goes and it puts them all in. Makes like a 3-hour process, like 15 minutes. So anyways, got your funnel on there. This is a funnel system that's calibrated to certain calibers, and then you just dump her in. Dip, dip, dip. Too easy. Now you got a case with powder in it. So I've been putting powder in it and then going to the press and putting the bullet in it. A lot of people like to just put all the powder. They keep powder here, non-powder here, yada yada. I'm just trying to get them all done. So this is the case. with powder in it. All you do is grab your bullet, put it in like that, and press it up. Pop. Puts the bullet in there. Oh, this one kind of went too much. I was gonna say perfectly, but this one's a hair bit much. Now, when it comes to this die set, you move this die set, and that shoves the bullet in. If you crimped it all the way down, it would push it in as far as possible. If you put it all the way up, it's at least as amount as possible. What's good about these FMJ rounds is since they are full metal jacket, they always have these little rings on them. Yeah, you see that little ring, just little divots inside of it that helps hold it. So a lot of people say that different rounds, especially this book right here, different rounds need to be crimped in at different measurements. But they say if you have this little ring, put it right in the middle of that little ring, you adjust it, keep going, adjust it, keep going until it gets right in that middle of the ring. That's what I have it at. This is what the setup's looking like as of right now. It's looking pretty good. So this is the station that I was showing you guys yesterday. It's an absolute bitch to get these little primer pockets out. So I've been literally using a drill. It is a lot better than this thing. But you still need this for the case mouth, inside the case mouth, outside the case mouth, clean the primer pocket and clean the casing itself. Relax, clear the mind. I like it a lot. But finally got my board up, got everything hanging up. Made a little basket right here. These little rings, I don't have anything for as of right now. But these are all my empty cases. Put a little shelf up right here. And that's how she's going. So when it comes to the loads themselves, you can actually tamper with it all. So this is 55 grain full metal jacket. It's not a complete casing. So it is considered a jacketed bullet. Okay, because it's just on it like a jacket. So we go over here to 55 grain jacketed bullet. And it's got every single piece of info that you would need. So we are using IMR 3031 with a 55 grain jacketed bullet for 223 Remington. So we go there, bing, bing, bong, 21.6 to 40 or 24.6. Never exceed amount and the starting amount. So what I'm doing is I'm going to 23.5, getting it in the middle mostly. The reason I started with 23.5 actually is because I was looking at 50 grain jacket, not 55, and that is exactly what it says to use. It's 23.5. So I freaked out. I was like, oh crap, I just made a bunch of bullets. But it's in between the IMR recommendation for starting and the maximum. So I'm just going to keep it at 23.5. I might go to 23.4-ish area now, kind of. But I'd like to keep them relatively the same just so I know what the powders are doing. You can also, which I'm probably going to get, it's about 150 bucks. A little tube, you shoot through it, it gives you the velocities. Obviously, when I zero in my AR and everything with these bullets, you can find out exactly which one shoots best, which one has the best velocity. So you can look here. You can get the PSI, which is 2.2. You can look at your AR and see exactly what helps it cycle and shoot the best, what types of PSI and everything. Maximum velocity if you use the maximum charge. And then it gives you a grain factor. So the grain factor is honestly pretty hard to explain, but pretty much this is the factor of which you times to tamper with your powders and your loads. And like when it comes to like 5.56, that shit can go up to like 80 grain. The high stuff is a 90 grain. I don't know if you guys know much about grains, but like a 30-06 round, which is double, this is 168 grain. So for a little side-by-side comparison, boom, boom. So that's 168. This is a little bit less than half of this. So pretty much like this 90 grain is going to be like your bolt action 5.56s, your single shot 5.56s for a super long distance hitting heavy targets. The 55 to 60 range is like the perfect medium, but you can get as light as 30 grain. So those are like your super fast rounds that are very accurate at short distances, but obviously temper off a lot quicker. So there's a lot of variations you can do. There's a lot more stuff that I need if I would want to temper. So right now, I'm just gonna fill this up doing the load that I'm doing right now. This next load, I have another powder that I'm going to use. I don't have another bullet, but I do have another powder, which is BLC2, which is 25 grains. The PSI on this is a lot higher. The velocity, however, is a little bit less. So I don't know how the fuck that works, but it literally might cycle through the weapon back. So there's a lot of tampering you can do. Obviously, I'm not like a competitive shooter or looking for much of anything. I just kind of want some bullets on hand. So that's why I'm kind of doing the average of everything. So just your average bullet, average powder load, yada yada. So there you go. We are almost home. We got all of our bullets that I'm going to make. As of right now, there's so many. Powder, primed, and bullets are in. Now, when it comes to the last part actually is optional. But when it comes to this round in particular, you can see this little ring with little divots. It's not focusing that well. Yeah, it's garbage. But these little rings with these little divots, that is how I sat my round in my casing. You can kind of see the start. Let's see if we can focus. Kind of see the start of the crimp right here. So long story short, what I was told, or what I found, is you want to crimp the case on that little divot, especially for semi-automatic rifles, because it helps the cycling process of semi-automatic rifles a lot better. Single shots and everything, don't really need to worry about it all too much. So all this is doing, when I'm pressing down, is it's squeezing that top of that case down on that little indention on the bullet. Just presses it in there. You can also do this if you don't think that your bullets are set in 100% the way you want them. You can crimp it in just in case. It's an optional process, but it's highly recommended for these types of bullets. It's actually not highly recommended. Don't know how to say that. A lot of people will not crimp it, shoot. If it cycles fully well, they won't do anything to it. But if for some reason it is not cycling well, they'll go back, crimp the bullets, see if that changes anything. I'm just going to, since this is part of the process, I'm just gonna crimp every single one, and then next time I will not crimp them and fire them through my rifle, because where I live right now, can't really just go out and fire my rifle right after these are done, which is also going to kill me because it's going to be a while until I shoot these rounds. And to be honest, I really don't want to shoot or make any more rounds until I shoot, because what if I completely mess this process up? I don't want to replicate the wrong process, which I'm definitely going to be reading this book, looking into more videos and practicing. I will, however, do my 9mm, because it's a slightly, very slightly different process, different dies, and that'll just be some more practice. Probably do that after studying or working out or something. Just slowly but surely doing 9mm until I get the opportunity to make these 5.56 again. Definitely don't want to mess with 30-06 right now until I've perfected 9mm and 223, because the 30-06 stuff is a lot more expensive. Bigger rounds, bigger money. So, thanks for watching.